Hello, everyone. It is Felicia Bender, the Practical Numerologist, and in this video today, we are looking at the best advice for the number 33/6, or the master number 33 life path. This is a video series just talking about best advice. They're designed to be short and sweet with three pieces of advice that if I had been a 33 growing up and living my life, I would have been grateful to have these nuggets, these chunks, these pieces of advice that may have made a difference as a 33 life path. All right. So that's the goal here, is to give those pieces of advice. I have found these to be relevant after all my years of doing readings and finding, common factors, commonalities, using numerology. I would also say this is that just like any piece of advice that you might get from anyone, it is take it or leave it. So if it resonates with you, if it's helpful, if it gives you an aha, take it and run with it. If it doesn't, if it's not relevant to you, just leave it on the table for somebody else. All right. So I will say that up front. And the second part of this that I would like to say is that if you are someone who likes numerology, you might like astrology, that sort of thing. And if you watch astrology videos, you will notice that oftentimes it's encouraged to watch for your sun, moon, and rising. The same sort of thing can be applied here with numerology. So I'm talking about the 33 life path. And yet, if you or anyone you love or know has the 33 showing up anywhere prominently placed in their chart, that would be the core numbers are the life path number, the expression or the destiny number, the soul urge number, the birthday number, that's the day you were born. There are other numbers that could be looked at here, but those are the core numbers. And so if you know those numbers, if you're a numerology geek and you already know those, you can watch it again like your sun, moon, and rising, but you could apply it to that part of your chart. All right. So let's just get going. Let's get off and running here. All right. So the best advice for the 33. And a reminder here, well, I guess I shouldn't be totally off and running. What I will say, though, as a kind of backdrop here, is that if you're new to numerology, you might not know that these numbers that have the repeating number, the 11, the 22, the 33, are what are called master numbers. All right. So I'm not really one for self-promotion, but I will self-promote right now for your benefit, hopefully. If you have master numbers or a master number in your chart, or you know and love someone who does and want to understand them better and how to support them better, I have written a book devoted entirely to this topic. It's called Master Numbers 11, 22, and 33. It is, you can get it on Amazon.com, and you could go to my website, FeliciaBender.com, and it's available there as well. Anyway, I have written an entire book that really, my fondest wish is that it really breaks down this very rich and complicated the master numbers, so that you can understand it and understand how to work with it much more effectively in your life, because it can be a lot. Let's just put it that way. Just saying, it can be a lot. And a lot of people get a little puffy, like, I've got a master number. I'm super special. I'm going to breeze through life. I'm going to have all this money and this fame or whatever. And think again, friend, think again, because it's not easy breezy. It's not easy breezy, little cheesy, is what I would say. And be careful what you wish for, because it is a more challenging path. It's has a lot of obstacles and a lot of amazing potentials. And yet I would encourage you to learn more about it so that you can manage it well and you can optimize it, because otherwise it can be rough. I'm going to be honest. Okay. So, all right. Now that we've gone over that, Here's the first piece of advice if you have a 33 life path, and that would be to give yourself permission to use your creativity. Now, why do I say that? So the number 6 is the foundational energy of the master number 33-6. And the 6 is the caretaker, the nurturer, pretty self-sacrificing, home, family, duty, service, all of those caretaking wonderful things that the 6 is all about. And yet it's also about responsibility with the capital R, and modulating that and understanding when enough is enough, when there need to be boundaries, and when you need to allow other people to make their own mistakes, to have their own thoughts and opinions in their own life, right? That have nothing to do with yours, because the 6 is really someone who wants everyone to be nested and nurtured and okay, and have a tendency to be overly giving and overly responsible for other people, to the point of exhaustion and exasperation and grave disappointment. Okay. So, and what I'm going to say here is the 6 itself has a lot of creative energy, a lot of visionary capabilities. And yet the double 3, it really infuses the need for you to use your creativity. The 3 is the creative communication energy. It's about creative self-expression, emotional sensitivity. It's the artist, it's the writer, it's the performer, it's anyone who needs to express and communicate. And you've got double that. And it's a little bit at odds often with your giving, self-sacrificing, caring for everybody else, and then I have nothing left for myself. Sort of pathway that the 6 or 33-6 can often, start walking down. So if you knew early and often that you really need to give yourself permission to create, to use your creativity, it's just going to make everything much more balanced, you much more healthy, and you really able to optimize this master energy. Because the 33 is the number of unconditional love, and kind of exemplifying that. And it ain't easy. I'm just going to say that out loud. It really isn't easy. And so you need to give yourself the self-care and the healing that before you can give it to others. I'll say that again. The 33-6 in particular is on a pathway to heal yourself and to care for yourself as well as highly and as much as you do for others. Before you have to give that to yourself before you can really effectively give it to other people. All right. So the second piece of advice is to learn how to relax and take time for self-care. I actually noticed that I kept this from the master number 22 as the second piece of advice, but I'm sticking with it for you 22s and 33s. The relaxation and taking the time for self-care is so imperative for you to be able to do the caretaking for others. And for the 22, it's all about the doing and the working and the endurance. For the 33-6, it's about the caretaking and all that goes with that. All right. So relaxing, time for self-care in a very true way really refuels you, revitalizes you, and allows you to give with the giving, willing, beautiful, loving heart rather than with resentment and through duty and sacrifice. And there's a fine line there, because with the 33-6 and with the 6, it's a you don't want to not, you don't want to give up on everyone and everything and say, I'm not going to ever, care about anyone ever again. You feel good when you're caring for others, when you are the cosmic parent after all. And yet there is a very interesting boundary there that you need to learn, that when you begin to feel that you're going to resent this or you're being taken advantage of, that sort of thing, that's when you need to put the kibosh on it, put those boundaries up. All right. The last piece of advice for the 33 is to find resources that allow you to discover how to establish healthy boundaries, because it always sounds really great. And boundaries it's a funny word, right? It's a funny, I don't know, we're used to that word. I'd like to come up with a better one. So maybe I will pretty soon. But at the moment, healthy boundaries are what I'm going to rely on to relay this idea. And it's about really understanding how to place yourself in the role of support, in the role of counselor, in this cosmic parenting role that you are meant to be in, without again going to the dark side. And so the 33-6 has issues surrounding perfectionism, control, and self-righteousness, thinking that it's this very idealistic um, energy where there's a pretty high bar here. And so what would really help you out early on is to get therapy, whether it's talk therapy, so you could understand what it might even look or feel like to have healthy relationship boundaries, right? I would say energy work and any kind of spiritual practices are really key players for the 33. I know a lot of 33s who are very religious, who go to whatever church denomination of their choice. I know a lot of 33s who are super spiritual in the spiritual world, whether it's just their spiritual beliefs and practices or whether they're in the healing professions. They're drawing on the spiritual practice. And this is a high level of the master numbers that really do ask you to kick it up a notch in terms of your spiritual knowledge, your spiritual education, and your spiritual experience, and your way to integrate that into the way that you live your life. So if I had been a 33 life path, I believe those were the three, or are the three pieces of advice that might have helped me out earlier rather than later.